I came home early to surprise my wife. Instead, I found clothes leading up the stairs to our bedroom. So, I sat in my recliner waiting for them to finish. The first thing I noticed was her red dress on the living room floor, not draped over the couch like she'd just changed, not in the laundry basket where it belonged. On the floor, 12 feet from the stairs, like it had been torn off in a hurry. Then his shoes, men's size 11, Clark's, expensive ones halfway to the stairs. His belt coiled near the bottom step like a dead snake, her bra on the 5th stair, his shirt on the landing. I stood in my own doorway at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, holding a bouquet of roses I'd bought for our anniversary, and counted the pieces of evidence leading up to our bedroom. 7 items, like breadcrumbs in a fucked-up fairy tale. I could hear them, muffled sounds through our bedroom door. The bed we'd picked out together at IKEA, assembled together, slept in for 6 years. My hands should have been shaking. My heart should have been racing. But here's the thing about shock. Sometimes it makes you very, very calm. I walked past her dress, set the roses on the kitchen counter, went to the garage and got my Milwaukee cordless drill, and the doorknob assembly I'd bought 3 weeks ago to fix the guest bathroom. Then I walked back through my living room, up my stairs, past the trail of betrayal, and very quietly installed a new lock on the master bedroom door. From the outside, it took me 4 minutes. They were too busy to notice the drill. When I finished, I checked my watch, 2:51 p.m. Then I went downstairs, sat in my recliner, the one she'd always said was too ugly for the living room but I'd refused to get rid of, and waited. I'd been married to Lisa for 6 years when I decided to leave work early and surprise her. We'd been together 9 years total, married at 24, both thinking we'd beaten the odds. High school sweethearts who actually made it work. I was a project manager at a construction firm. Lisa was a real estate agent, which meant her schedule was flexible, unpredictable. Showings, she'd say, open houses, meeting with potential buyers. I'd believed every word. That Tuesday, I'd wrapped up a site inspection by noon. The foreman didn't need me, the permits were filed, and it was our anniversary weekend coming up. I thought, surprise her, take her to lunch, maybe finally get that tattoo we'd talked about getting together. I stopped at the flower shop on Morrison Street, bought red roses because they were her favorite, $24, which I put on our joint credit card, the one we'd gotten to build credit together. The irony wasn't lost on me later. I got home at 2:46 p.m. Our house was a 3-bedroom Craftsman in southeast Portland. We'd bought it 2 years ago, stretched ourselves thin on the mortgage, but it was ours. Lisa had picked out the paint colors. I'd refinished the hardwood floors myself. I was thinking about where we should go for dinner when I opened the front door. The first rationalization came immediately. She's changing clothes. She spilled something. That's why her dress is on the floor. The second, those are, whose shoes? Maybe she's showing the house to a client. Maybe she brought a buyer through and they tracked in mud, had to take off their shoes. My brain was working overtime to create a narrative that wasn't what I was seeing. Then I saw his shirt, Calvin Klein, size large, still warm when I touched it on my way to the garage. That's when the cold hit. Not cold like ice, cold like anesthesia, numb, methodical. I sat in my recliner for 23 minutes. At 3:14 p.m., I heard the bedroom doorknob rattle. Then again, harder. Then a male voice. What the fuck? What's wrong? Lisa's voice. Still breathless. Still my wife's voice. The door, it's locked from the outside. That's impossible. It doesn't have a lock on the outside. Well, it does now. Silence. Then footsteps approaching the door. The sound of Lisa trying the handle. Jake? Her voice was different now. Higher. Scared. Jake, are you home? I didn't answer. Oh my God, Jake. If you're out there, who's Jake? The male voice. My husband. More silence. Then frantic rattling. I opened my phone and started recording audio. Then I spoke, loud enough for them to hear through the door. Hi, honey, I'm home. The screaming started around 3:20. Lisa was hysterical. The man, I didn't know who he was yet, was trying to calm her down, which was hilarious. Just call him. Tell him to let us out. That's my husband, Lisa shrieked. He locked us in here. He knows. Oh God, he knows. So explain. Tell him it's not what he thinks. What else could he possibly think? I recorded all of it. 23 minutes of audio. Her admitting everything. Him panicking about his wife finding out. Her crying that she loved me, that this was a mistake, that they'd only been together for 4 months. 4 months. I replayed that part 3 times to make sure I'd heard correctly. At 3:43 p.m., I called my lawyer. His name was Marcus Chen, 42, specialized in divorce and custody cases. We'd met when I did construction work on his office building. He'd given me his card, said, "Hope you never need it, but you've got my number." I needed it. Marcus, it's Jake Morrison. Remember me from the Belmont project? Jake, yeah, of course. What's up? I need a divorce attorney. Are you available right now? I heard shuffling on his end. Right now, as in, I'm sitting in my living room. My wife and her affair partner are locked in my bedroom. I have 23 minutes of audio recording of them confessing to a 4-month affair. How fast can you get here? Silence. Then, I'm leaving my office now. Don't let them out. Don't talk to them. Don't do anything until I get there. 30 minutes. Thanks, Marcus. While I waited, I did something productive. I went through our joint credit card statements on my phone. There's a phrase private investigators use, establishing a pattern. I was establishing a pattern. February 12th, 147 at Giuseppe's Italian restaurant. I'd been at a site meeting that night. She'd said she was having dinner with her friend Rachel. February 19th, $89 at the Northgate Cinema. She'd said she was showing a property in Vancouver. I'd been working late. March 3rd, $312 at the Heathman Hotel, a Tuesday. She'd texted me at 4 p.m. Running late, showing went longer than expected. I went back further. January, December, November. My stomach wasn't dropping anymore. It had already fallen through the floor. $40,100 over 4 months on our joint card. I'd been funding her affair. At 4:02 p.m., someone started kicking the door. "Hey!" I yelled up the stairs. "You break my door, you're paying for it. Let us out, you psycho." The male voice, aggressive now. "Marcus, right? Marcus Boyd? Yeah, I looked you up. Found your wallet in your pants pocket, checked your license." Silence. "Your wife's name is Jennifer, right? 2 kids, ages 7 and 4. You're a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch. Nice job. Good money. I bet Jennifer would love to know where you spend your afternoons. You son of a..." "I'd save it. My lawyer's on his way. You've got about 25 minutes to think about what you're going to tell Jennifer." More kicking. I ignored it. The door was solid oak. He could kick all day. Marcus arrived at 4:18 p.m. He was dressed in a suit, despite it being his day off, carrying a leather briefcase. He looked at the clothes scattered across my living room and stairs, looked at me, looked at the locked bedroom door upstairs. "Jesus Christ, Jake. Yeah, how long have they been up there?" "Hour and a half. And you recorded everything?" I showed him my phone. He listened to 30 seconds, then nodded. "This is good. This is very good. In Oregon, we're a one-party consent state for audio recordings, so this is admissible. I'm going to need you to email this to me immediately. Also, I need you to photograph every single piece of clothing from the door to the bedroom. Timestamps. Then I need you to start going through your financial records, every credit card, every bank account." "Already did." I showed him my notes. 4,200 in 4 months. Marcus whistled. "Okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to draft emergency divorce papers tonight. Tomorrow morning we file. We'll also file a motion to freeze all joint assets so she can't drain your accounts. With this audio and the financial evidence, we're looking at a very straightforward case. What about now? Now, we let them out. But first," he pulled out his phone. "I'm recording this on my end. I'll introduce myself as your legal counsel. You're going to unlock the door, and you're going to let them walk out. You're not going to say anything. You're not going to touch anyone. You're going to let me do all the talking. Understood?" I nodded. "One more thing. Is there anyone who can be here with you? Family? Friend?" "My brother. He lives 20 minutes away. Call him. Tell him to come now." My brother Tom arrived at 4:35 p.m. 6'3", former college linebacker, now a high school gym teacher. When I'd called him and said, "Lisa's been cheating. I need you here now," he'd said, "On my way," and hung up. He walked in, saw the scene, and his jaw clenched. "Where is she?" "Upstairs. Locked in with him." Tom looked at Marcus. "And you are?" "Marcus Chen, Jake's attorney." "Good." Tom turned back to me. "You okay?" "Yeah." "Bullshit. But we'll deal with that later." At 4:41 p.m., Marcus gave me the nod. I walked upstairs with my phone recording video. Marcus followed with his phone recording. Tom stayed at the bottom of the stairs, arms crossed. I unlocked the door. It flew open immediately. Marcus, the affair partner, came out first, fully dressed now, his face red. "You're fucking insane. You can't just lock people in rooms. That's unlawful imprisonment. I'll sue you for..." "Marcus Boyd," my lawyer said calmly. "Before you threaten my client with legal action, you should know that you've just spent 90 minutes locked in a room with his wife after entering his home and engaging in an extramarital affair. Oregon is a no-fault divorce state, but the audio evidence we have of your confession will be very interesting to your employer's ethics board. Merrill Lynch has strict policies about..." "You recorded us?" Marcus Boyd's face went white. "One-party consent state. My client was a party to the conversation by being in his own home. Everything you said is admissible." Lisa stumbled out behind him. She'd put on one of my old t-shirts. Her mascara was everywhere. "Jake, please, let me explain." "Don't." I kept my voice level. "Don't say anything. Marcus, you should leave. We need to talk about this." Lisa grabbed my arm. Tom was up the stairs in 3 seconds. "Hands off." Marcus Boyd was already heading down the stairs, grabbing his shoes. He didn't even tie them, just ran out my front door. Lisa was sobbing now. "Jake, please. It was a mistake. I love you. He doesn't mean anything." "You need to leave," Marcus Chen said. "This is Mr. Morrison's property. You need to collect your essential items and vacate the premises. You have 10 minutes. This is my house too." "Actually," Marcus pulled out a folder. "According to the property deed, this house is in Jake Morrison's name solely. It was his inheritance from his grandfather. You have no legal ownership claim. 10 minutes, Ms. Morrison. After that, we call the police for trespassing." Lisa left at 5:03 p.m. with a suitcase of clothes and her laptop. She tried to talk to me 4 more times. I didn't respond. Tom and Marcus stood on either side of me like sentries. When her car pulled out of the driveway, something in my chest loosened. Not relief, not sadness, just space, room to breathe. "You did good," Tom said quietly. Marcus was already typing on his phone. "I'm filing the paperwork tonight. Emergency hearing is set for Thursday morning. She's going to try to come back, try to talk, try to explain. Don't engage. Any communication goes through me." "What about her stuff? The rest of her things?" "We'll arrange a supervised pickup later. For now, change the locks, all of them. Tonight." Tom nodded. "I'll go to Home Depot. Be back in an hour." Marcus Boyd's wife, Jennifer, called me at 7:32 p.m. "Is this Jake Morrison?" "Yes. My husband came home 3 hours ago and confessed to having an affair with your wife. He said you locked them in a room. He said you recorded them. He said you threatened to tell me." Her voice was shaking. "I want to hear that recording." I looked at Marcus, who was still at my house, drafting papers on my dining room table. He nodded. "I'll email it to you." "What's your email address?" She gave it to me. I sent the file. 2 minutes later, she called back. She was crying. "How long did you know?" "I found out today. 2:47 p.m. to be exact." 4 months. He said it was 4 months. That's what she said too. "I'm pregnant. I'm 12 weeks pregnant with our 3rd child." The silence on the line was deafening. "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. "He's sleeping on the couch tonight. Tomorrow I'm calling a lawyer. Thank you for sending me that. I needed to hear it." "Good luck, Jennifer." "You too, Jake." The divorce was finalized in 67 days. Lisa contested nothing. She couldn't. Not with the audio, the credit card statements, and the testimony from Jennifer Boyd, who became unexpectedly helpful in documenting the timeline of the affair. Turned out, Marcus Boyd had taken his wedding ring off at work and told co-workers he was separated. He'd used client dinners as an excuse to meet Lisa. He'd charged $2,800 on his corporate card for hotel rooms and dinners, which Merrill Lynch discovered during their internal investigation. He was fired on day 42 of my divorce proceedings. Lisa tried to get spousal support. Marcus Chen laughed in court and presented the financial records showing she'd spent $4,200 of our joint money on her affair. The judge was not amused. She got her personal belongings, her car, and half of our joint savings, $8,000. I kept the house, my truck, and my sanity. 3 months after the divorce was final, Tom and I were sitting on my back deck, drinking beer. "You ever gonna date again?" he asked. "Maybe. Eventually." "You seem okay?" "I am okay." And I was. Not healed. That would take time. But okay. Functional. Moving forward. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Hello? Jake Morrison? This is Detective Lisa Chen. No relation to your lawyer. I'm with Portland PD's Financial Crimes Unit. We're investigating Marcus Boyd for embezzlement from Merrill Lynch. Your ex-wife's name came up in our investigation. Would you be willing to answer some questions? I smiled. Yeah, I would. Turns out Marcus Boyd hadn't just charged personal expenses to his corporate card. He'd been embezzling from client accounts for 2 years, small amounts at first, $500 here, $1,000 there. Then larger, $15,000, $30,000. He'd used some of it to fund the affair with Lisa, including 2 weekend trips to the coast that Lisa had told me were real estate conferences. The detective wanted my credit card records, my audio recording, and my testimony about the timeline. This helps establish his pattern of deception and financial fraud, she explained. Your recording is particularly valuable because he discusses using business trips as cover for personal activities. That supports our case. Happy to help. Marcus Boyd was arrested 6 weeks later. The charges included wire fraud, embezzlement, and tax evasion. Federal charges. He was looking at 5 to 7 years. Jennifer Boyd divorced him while he was in county jail awaiting trial. She got full custody of their kids, the house, and his pension. She also filed a civil suit for damages. I sent her a congratulations card when I heard. She sent one back with a simple message. Thank you for recording that day. It saved my life. Lisa tried to reach out once, 8 months after the divorce. She sent an email to my work account. Jake, I miss you. I made the biggest mistake of my life. Can we talk? I forwarded it to Marcus Chen without responding. He replied, Perfect. I'm adding this to your file in case she ever tries to claim you owe her anything. Showing continued attempts at contact after the divorce helps establish her lack of remorse. I never heard from her again. A year after that Tuesday afternoon, I met someone. Her name was Rachel. She was a structural engineer, funny and smart, with zero patience for bullshit. On our 3rd date, I told her the whole story. The clothes on the stairs, the locked door, the recliner, the recording, all of it. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, That's the most cold-blooded, strategic response to betrayal I've ever heard. You're kind of terrifying. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a very good thing. It means you don't panic. You think. That's rare. We got married 2 years later. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Tom was my best man. Marcus Chen came as a guest, and that ugly recliner, the one Lisa had hated, still in my living room. Rachel loves it. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled it, if I wish I'd confronted them immediately or yelled or broken down. I don't. Because here's what I learned that day. Betrayal is a gift. It shows you who people really are when they think no one's watching, and how you respond to that gift determines who you become. I chose to become methodical, strategic, calm. I chose to sit in my ugly recliner and wait. And when they came out, I was ready, with evidence. With witnesses, with a lawyer and a brother and a plan. They took my trust, but I took everything that mattered, my house, my future, and my self-respect. I came home early to surprise my wife. Instead, I found clothes leading up the stairs to our bedroom, so I sat in my recliner, waiting for them to finish. Best decision I ever made.